What's up, fam? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited about today's message because originally it was for a middle school girls e-group. What's an e-group? It's basically a small group for church. But as I was writing this sermon, I realized this is something everybody of all ages need to learn and understand, which is routines and priorities. A little bit of a tough subject, because it's very personal. Like, priorities are personal to everybody, but they extremely help you with routines. So I got my iPad with my notes on it, I got my Bible right here, and I'm ready to go. The title of this sermon is Prioritize so you don't jeopardize. I'm going to be in Matthew 7, verses 24 through 27. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine, puts them into practice, is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall because it had the foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell with a great crash. So I know these verses might be familiar to you. A lot of preachers preach on these verses about obeying God's word. And that is totally one translation of it. I'm not disregarding that in any means, but I want to take it a bit of a different direction with these verses. When building a house, you have to have priorities. First of all, you have to have the priority of where are you going to start? You're going to start with the basement or the top floor? The basement. The next priority is what materials are going to use. For example, if you're in California, your house needs to be ready for earthquakes. So you have to use the right materials and structure for that. So your priority is an earthquake. If you live in Florida or somewhere, your priority might be hurricanes or floods, and your house needs to be ready for that. But you have to have a priority of the house. Now, routines. Routines will be your lifeline for your entire life. From the moment you're born to the moment you die, routines will save you and they will help you move forward to a goal. They will keep you on track in every area of your life. However, starting a routine can be really hard. Let's think about when August comes around. For those of us who are still in school, August comes around and you got to start getting in the routine of schoolwork. 8 hours a day you have to be in class, and then you have to come home and do homework. You somehow have to fit extracurricular activities and every other personal thing that you prioritize. By January though, you're fully into that routine and it's easy. Homework doesn't take as long, the schools don't feel as long, and things are getting easier. You're in the groove of it. Then June comes around, summer's here, and it can be a little boring at first. Number one, you're used to doing something for 8 hours a day, and now you have to learn to relax. But by July, you're in the groove, and you never want summer to end. You're in a routine. Then the cycle starts back in August. Routines are all around us. Some routines are good routines, some routines are bad. Some routines are routines you have to go through, like school, but you can also have personal routines too. By bad routines, I mean being on my phone every chance I can get. That was personal right there. This is my personal experience of a bad routine. And that's very unhealthy. The moment you realize how unhealthy that is, you have to change it and you have to get out of that routine. But as much as routines are hard to start, they're hard to break. What about personal routines we have to start for ourselves? Routines for our own well-being, routines to help us, routines that we might even be called to. Luckily, there's leaders in your life to help you. I would love to help you with routines because I am learning about them and going through them with y'all, but you have other leaders in your life to help you too. However, people can't get into a routine for you, and that's the hardest part. You have to start it for yourself. So what are some steps for getting into a good routine? Step 1, identify your priorities. Let's just start off with 3 priorities you have every day. Maybe one or two are a major life goal priority. So a priority that you can be working towards. And maybe some are more personal, but not a to-do list. These are things that are not going to change daily. These are things that are habits that you can get in the routine of doing. So ask yourself, what's my number one priority in life? So a goal. Then what's my number one priority today? But a task that's done often enough, it can become a routine. What I mean is, what is a task today for a routine? For example, clean your room. If you gotta clean your room today, you can make it a routine to clean your room every Wednesday or whenever you want. Now, a number one priority in life, I hope, is having a good, healthy, strong relationship with God. So how are you gonna turn that into a routine? So what are you gonna prioritize today? Cleaning from August to May, it's gonna be homework or maybe an instrument or a sport. Okay, so now that you know your priorities, how are they gonna become a routine? Make time for them in your everyday life. Step 2, but it's very hard and sounds easier than it actually is. This seems easy, but it doesn't happen overnight. You'll forget some days you'll exceed your own expectations, but little changes help in the long run. Do you know when the best time to start a routine is? It's not January 1st for the youth. For us youth, we're in school. We are in the middle of a very demanding routine and one that requires a lot of attention. So the best time to start a routine is summer. Life is more relaxed in general and you have a lot more time during the day. It's hard to start a routine when you're already in the middle of one, because routines take time. They take little changes mentally and physically to make them consistent. They take trial and error, so what does and doesn't work for me. For example, what time of day works best for you to be able to get this task done? How long can I sit here doing this task and make sure it's efficient? What can be most productive during this time? Where can I be most productive doing this task? What would be most productive to do? And how long can I sit here and focus? You have to figure something out that can become your new normal. Everybody knows about your new normal, right? Those were words that came up in 2020, but they are words that can come up in your everyday life. Routines eventually become reality, so you have to make them practical. Now, sometimes you have to tweak your routines based on how life changes, but you can still carry them out. Okay, we have the basis and a general idea of routines. Let's try to put it into practice. Number one priority, I hope, is your relationship with God. So how do we make that a routine? Ask yourself, what time of day do I feel I work best? Mornings, evenings, afternoon? How long do I think I can sit here and fully focus on this scripture or devotional? Which leads to the next question of what's most beneficial for me? Devotional, journeying, digging into the word, or all of the above? Where in your house do you feel you can concentrate the best? Bedroom, kitchen, living room? Now make this realistic. So not like a coffee shop 30 minutes away, but like your bedroom. After those questions are answered, put it into practice, which may take days or weeks to get in the habit of doing. Okay, for example, my brain works best in the morning. So I set an alarm for 7 a.m. and I try to get up at that time. Then I do my bedroom morning routine, which consists of making my bed and my facial routine. Then I go sit at my desk or the kitchen table and I do a devotional, read the Bible, dig into the word, journal about life right now, whatever it may be. Now, what works for me might not work for you. And to be honest, I fall out of that routine sometimes, but you gotta get back in it. So I'm telling you how to do routines, but know that I've failed before, that I need help sometimes in keeping myself focused. What is important about routines is you personalize it to you and however you function best. Now that we have a pretty good idea about routines, let's move on to priorities, which you've already heard me talk about. For most people, adults and youth, everywhere, electronics such as phones, iPad, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Whatever else is a priority in some way. If those things aren't a priority for you yet, they will be one day, so let's learn how to manage them. Now, before going any farther in that, I know youth especially are used to older people above them coming against them about social media and electronics. Something about our generation is just getting hit with that a lot lately. And oftentimes the people telling you that Instagram and social media is bad for you have it themselves. For example, me, right now, I'm going to try to help you learn about this priority, but I'm saying this on a YouTube channel and I have Instagram as well, but I'm not bashing it. There's ups and downs to every electronic, social media or just a game, whatever it may be. There's good parts and there's bad parts. There's 100% truth in learning to control your electronics before they control you. I agree with that. That has a lot of value. I don't think you need to completely give them up because there's a lot worse thing teenagers can be doing than listening to a sermon on YouTube. But there is truth in controlling them. I just want to show you how to control them so they don't control you. For example, something such as innocent as getting on Instagram to follow your friends, see what people are doing, catching up, can quickly turn into comparison. There's one example of social media learning to control you. You have to learn to manage it by not letting it consume you. The best way to not let it consume you is to use it in proportions. I know no kid likes time limits. I don't either. But you can have a personal time limit. For example, I'm not going to get on my electronics till blank. Or I'm not going to get on them till I finish blank. Or I'm only going to spend blank amount of hours on electronics today. Use it sparingly, otherwise it'll be the only thing that matters. An example, again, I've already said this, my brain works best in the morning. By the way, that's something I know about myself that has made a routine and has set my priorities. So there you go. You got to know yourself to have your routines and your priorities straight. But my brain works best in the morning. So I try my best to not get on my phone or electronics until I feel I can get on them without them controlling me the rest of the day. I try to find something else to do more productive during that time. Like, for example, I'm preaching a sermon. But it's hard because my routine is already get up, get on my phone, whatever else falls after that. So you have to break that routine and start a new one of waiting until getting on my phone. Maybe for you, it might not be getting on your phone before bed. Whatever it may be, again, just like routines, priorities have to personalize them to you. And it's going to take trial and error to figure it out. Once it clicks, and you're going to do your absolute best to keep them in routine, because if you fall out, you got to start over, and that's the worst part. Now, I can happily give you guys this outline. I can say all the right words, but you're the one that has to put it into work. I promise if you can learn your priorities and your routines now, they will help you for the rest of your life. Self-awareness and self-reflection will always help you not self-destroy. There's going to be many things in your life that you're going to have to learn to control. There's going to be many things in your life you're going to have to understand you can't control. But this is something that's personal. This is something that can help you and that you can control it. So I highly encourage you to get control. I hope this sermon was helpful. Routines and priorities are something I am still learning how to do. So they're going to take time, but I believe they can really help you in everyday life. And there's something that is so practical. It's not this big, huge something. It's the little things that are going to help you get into that routine. Comment down below what routines and priorities you have. And make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for when I post another video. Bye, guys.